Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting them to get a ton of production, but at least they invest this year as opposed to last year. They just kind of duct taped it together with a veteran like Benjamin Watkins. But they really need N'Keal Harry to start coming up big. He's a first-round pick for them last year, 32 overall. He's a big physical guy. He looks just like DK Metcalf, muscles popping out of his jersey. Had a few nice catches last week. Also had a bad fumble that went out in the end zone. Not the best way to endear yourself to Bill Belichick with a poor ball security. So Julian Edelman can still get open. Newton was feeding him consistently the other day. But the Patriots really need to find a number two. And I'm not counting James White as guys out of the backfield. They're good in the passing game, but the Patriots really need a second guy on the outside. And they really need N'Keal Harry to step up.
Ben Boland with the Boston Globe. Great stuff as always. Are you flying here this week, or are you going to be having to do it from home?
Yeah, I'm done. I unfortunately won't be there, and I can't tell you how bummed I am. Seattle is the last team in the NFL that has yet to cover a game, and I've been looking forward to this game for like 7 years. And then for this to happen, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I am really bummed that I won't be out there this year.
Yeah, and of course, I'm doing the Patriots sidelines for the broadcast, and of course, I'm doing it here from home, which is very unusual. It's an unusual year. Hey, Ben Boland with the Boston Globe. Thanks as always. Great stuff.
All right, thank you very much, John.
Okay, be sure to check out the Professor's Notes on 710sports.com. Professor's Notes are brought to you by Infinity of Tacoma at Fife. Coming up next, we're going to take you behind the lines, get you up to date on the National Football League. John Clayton Show, 710 ESPN Seattle.
If week one was any indication of the Hawks season, we're in for something special.
Touchdown! Seahawks! You guys are covering DK Metcalf with one man? Forget about it!
We wanted to be aggressive in our approaches in general.
They get to Ryan and they knock him off his feet, and it is Adams again.
We wanted to just cut him loose, so that's what you saw.
No surprise, man. I'm focused already.
And the Seahawks are going to take over.
Stay connected all season long with the 710 Sports app. And don't miss the Pete Carroll Show, Monday mornings at 9:30 with Danny and Gallant.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and I know it's been a long wait, but if you're anything like me, you're ready to go out and have a little fun. It's time to go to Snoqualmie Casino. The team is ready. They're excited to welcome you back, and they've got some great outdoor dining options. 12 Moons and Vista Prime Steaks and Seafood are offering outdoor dining. Yep, Snoqualmie's gone above and beyond to make sure the casino is a safe place for everybody. Go to snocasino.com to see all the safety enhancements. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino.
Please game responsibly.
Message and data rates may apply up to 5 messages among T&C and privacy policy found at warbyparker.com/terms. Reply help for help or stop to cancel.
Have you ever wondered why eyeglasses cost so much? Glasses have been around 700 years. Isn't technology supposed to get less expensive over time? Well, there's a simple explanation. For decades, the eyewear industry has been dominated by a single company that's kept prices artificially high while reaping huge profits.
Yikes.
Warby Parker was created to change that. They design and produce their own eyewear and then sell it directly to you for a fraction of the price. Warby Parker's high-quality glasses start at just $95, including your prescription. And if you need an updated prescription, they've got a few easy ways to help you get one. Text glasses to 64,000 to try 5 pairs of frames for free. They'll ship them to you to try out for 5 days. If you find a style you like, they'll send you a fresh pair with your prescription. Easy. Text glasses to 64,000 to pick your 5 frames to try on at home for free. Text glasses to 64,000 to get started for free. That's GLASSES to 64,000.
For nearly a decade, Universal Men's Clinic has specialized in treating ED and low testosterone with customized treatment programs that deliver a high success rate. For your convenience, we now offer telemedicine appointments. You can now safely and easily connect with our medical team anywhere you have internet access. We are confident we can medically improve your ED or low testosterone, or we will refund your money. Universal Men's Clinic remains committed to serving as your trusted medical partner, and you can be confident in making us your first option for ED and low testosterone treatment. It's guaranteed. Choose an in-person or telemedicine consultation to receive our renowned personalized medical care. Call Universal Men's Clinic at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit universalmensclinic.com. Universal Men's Clinic. Convenient, affordable, and guaranteed.
There's a lot of
uncertainty out there, and many investors are making moves to protect their assets. You hear about it in the news every day. Well, if the equity in your home is an important asset and a big part of your future retirement, then a cash-out refinance loan can give you confidence to weather the storm. Hey, this is Brock Ewart for Tila Mortgage. Call today to see if it's time to take advantage of historically low interest rates and use your hard-earned equity to get relief from high credit card or other payments, or simply have a cash reserve. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. You'll work with one person from start to finish and secure a mortgage loan in a way that's stress-free and efficient. Tila offers excellent purchase, refinance, FHA, VA, and reverse mortgages too. Call today, 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888, or
Powered by Hometown Lenders at MLS 65084.
Since you can't join us inside T-Mobile Park, we're bringing the ballpark experience to you. Catch Mariners batting practice as part of the On Deck Show presented by T-Mobile prior to select home games this season. When you tune in live to Mariners.com, you'll get exclusive access to watch Mariners VP. Get news and information straight from the clubhouse. Plus, hear from skipper Scott Service, Mariners players, and special guests throughout the 30-minute show. For a full list of remaining On Deck shows in 2020, log on to Mariners.com/fans.
John Clayton,
Powered through the Alaska Airlines Studios.
on demand with the 710 Seattle Sports app.
Of course, getting ready now for the Thursday night game, which is, I think you wonder about the ratings on this one. It was interesting to see that, except for the Sunday night Fox game and some of the other Fox games, ratings were a little bit down. But of course, I mean, the numbers were so high last year at the first week of the season, and I thought, but now you're competing against NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, baseball, all those different things. But I think that they're still very content with the ratings, and of course they continue to get more money coming in with some of the streaming packages they continue to do. I mean, they had Dish back on board. They have the $1.5 billion from DirecTV for Sunday tickets. I saw that they got YouTube, they got that re-signed, and so those things seem to be going very well. But I don't know what kind of a draw that you can get on a Cincinnati-Cleveland game. Joe Burrow, I think, is going to be of interest. But again, how much national interest is there in a Cleveland Brown team that continues to underachieve? And where I talk about underachieve is that they have struggled all the way along to try to get good at. You have Baker Mayfield having only 6 points in the opener against Baltimore, and we all know Baltimore is better, and we're going to win that game. But only 6 points, and they gave up 38. This is a team, Cleveland, that has 10 players who have been to the Pro Bowl, 6 on offense and 4 on defense, and yet they can't get out of their own way and play like a good team. Cincinnati, of course, is not a good team, but they gave a competitive game against the Chargers on the road, and really, in many ways, should have won it, because the one play that would have gone for the game-winning touchdown, there was a push-off by A.J. Green that got an interference call. So they tried to settle for the short field goal, and next thing you know, boom, they missed it. So, I don't know, Cincy, Cleveland, how much does that attract your eyes, DJ Wilder?
I'm intrigued to watch Joe Burrow. I didn't get to watch him play the Chargers last Sunday, so I'm excited to see how Joe Burrow will handle a defensive line that features Myles Garrett, Larry Ogunjobi, and Olivier Vernon. He even talked about it a little bit in the top 5 that he's going to have to get the ball out quickly, and he's got weapons. He's got A.J. Green, John Ross, guys like that. It'll be really interesting to see how he handles it, and I'm really intrigued as well to see how Baker Mayfield bounces back from his 21 for 39 performance, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And he was only sacked twice. I want to see how this new look offensive line, if they can protect him a little bit better against Cincy's front. I don't know if they will be able to. But John, do you think if Baker has another performance like he did last Sunday, are there going to be a little bit of whisperings, a little bit of rumblings about maybe Baker getting benched in a month from now?
There might be. In fact, actually, there's already rumbling. Some people are thinking that, Case Keenan's going to get a chance to play, and it's like, I don't know about that. But no, I think it's got to be because what you're looking at is that it's just not clicking, and of course, and this is something, and this is where. Okay, you can blame the coaching, which is, I think, accurate. I mean, not Kevin Stefanski. It's too early to take him out. But also, what you're looking at is that, you got an owner that's willing to fire a coach after 1 year. And so now you have Baker Mayfield. This is the fourth coordinator he's been with offensively in 4 years. How confusing can that get? Because you're constantly changing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, we even hear about Brian Schottenheimer up here in Seattle. Really, they're adding things, they're taking things out of the playbook every single year. And he's been here for 3 years. Like, even though you have that continuity with the same coordinator, whether it be offense or defense, you're always adding things. So to go from 4 different philosophies, I can't even imagine. Like, I don't think we can make that fully an excuse for Baker Mayfield, but that's got to be some of it for his performances in his first 3 seasons.
Oh yeah, no doubt, and it catches up to you without any question. And so, and that's why owners fire coaches too much. And I think this year is going to be a disaster in the way it's like, hey, you got to give the coach a little bit of latitude, just because, okay, he didn't have an off-season program, he was doing Zoom meetings in the off-season, no preseason games. But, I still think there's going to be a lot of coaches. Some people think it's going to be 5 to 6. I think it's going to be 8 or 9. And, I think Kevin Stefanski's shown, good leadership so far, so he'll be okay. But boy, this was going to be tough. But Cleveland just seems to be their own worst enemy.
It's unbelievable. And like all those names I was just naming, just on the defensive line, I mean, we didn't even mention guys like Denzel Ward, and then a tight end named David Njoku and Austin Hooper, who was arguably the best red zone tight end other than George Kittle and Travis Kelce last year. I mean, and they have Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, like they are on paper, they've done a great job building a team on paper, but somehow, some way, now, of course, like you said, we don't know, like the Ravens are probably the best complete team in the NFL, right up there with the Chiefs. So maybe they'll just make everybody look like that all season. So we can only hope that maybe the Browns can maybe figure it out and actually, I don't know, look a little bit like the team that they look like on paper. And hopefully that starts tonight.
Yeah, let's hope they can try to do something. So coming up next, we're going to get together with Michael Bumpus, talk about this Seahawks-Patriot game. It's the John Clayton Show, 710 ESPN Seattle.
Get more of the Seahawks and Mariners conversations you need with the 710 Sports app. Read inside information on the Mariners from Shannon Dreyer and go deeper on the Hawks with videos from Seahawks play-by-play broadcaster Dave Wyman and Russell Wilson's QB coach Jay Heaps. Hear every minute of every show live on your smart speaker. Just say, play 710 ESPN Seattle. And if you miss your favorite show, don't worry. You can hear it all on our podcast page at 710sports.com.
Is a new kitchen in your plans? You're probably thinking, months of mess, tens of thousands of dollars, and huge hassles. Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft, and it just doesn't have to be that way. Our specialty is custom cabinet refacing and quartz countertops. With Heritage Homecraft, custom means built from scratch just for your kitchen. In about a week, we'll reface your existing cabinet boxes with 1/4-inch thick solid hardwood. No veneers or laminates. We can make design changes, add cabinets, install custom features like soft close drawers, sliding shelves, and other cool touches, and top it off with a beautiful quartz countertop. Rather than subcontractors, we have our own team of professional craftsmen who make it easy and comfortable to have the kitchen of your dreams in about a week and save thousands. Don't put it off. Have us out and let us show you what a Heritage Homecraft custom refacing project looks like in your home. Give us a call, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Papa John's Steaks for $6, pizza and wings, breadsticks and chicken poppers, cheese sticks and a brownie. Find your favorite and pair it up for $6 each at your local Papa John's. Delivery fee and taxes extra.
Text message data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. And there it is. Nice work. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The big herd, right?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people that try for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
And I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
So, Rob, you just got to send them a text. Text KICK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermal, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help get you back back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text KICK to 321321. That's kick to 321321.
It's not over. If you are still under the stress of COVID and find yourself drinking too much, call Shake Hospital now at 800 Craving. COVID may not be over, but if you want your addiction to be over, call 800 Craving now.
You can hear 710 ESPN Seattle on radio.com, live anytime, anywhere. Go to your app store or radio.com/download and start listening today. To take 710 ESPN Seattle with you wherever you go, download the radio.com app today.
John Clayton here for Infinity at Tacoma at 5 with some exciting news. To celebrate the start of the football season, they've decided to extend the 0% interest to 72 months on all new 2020 Infinities through September. If you purchase a 2020 Infinity, you will pay absolutely zero interest. It could be the difference to buy new instead of used. All you have to do is head to their dealership and test drive one of their brand new vehicles. It's safe, customer-friendly experience, and their staff will treat you like $1 million. Can't make it to the dealership? Shop online at infinitytacoma.com. They'll even deliver the vehicle to you. You have no excuse. What are you waiting for? Once you test drive an Infinity, you'll be absolutely blown away like I was. Come take advantage of this offer before it expires September 30th. 0% interest to 72 months on brand new 2020 Infinities, well-qualified buyers on approval of credit. Infinity of Tacoma 5, delivering the luxury you deserve. That's why I'm proud to say they're the only dealership endorsed by the professor.
Remember the folks you once saw every single day, but now you haven't seen them in months? The advanced FUE treatment from Advanced Hair will surprise them when you reconnect with them with a full head of hair. And it takes just one day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 425-449-8185 and receive special financing, $250 off and 250 free grass. Advanced Hair's standard of care always exceeds the CDC guidelines, so feel proud of your hair when it's finally time to reconnect. AdvancedHair.com. Washington businesses are open and hiring.
As businesses reopen safely and Washington residents get back to work, we know some of you are also looking for employment. The stations of Bonneville, Seattle want to help get the word out. We know local companies are in need of good workers.
If your company is hiring or if you're looking for work, head to mynorthwest.com where we can help make the connection.
Washington is open and hiring. Let's get back to work. Find out how at mynorthwest.com.
That's mynorthwest.com.
710 KIRO AM Seattle, KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, streaming live on the 710 Sports app. The voice of Seattle sports. 710 ESPN Seattle.
This hour of the John Clayton Show is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino.
John Clayton.
Powered through the Alaska Airlines Studios.
Streaming live at 710sports.com. On demand everywhere on the 710 Seattle Sports app. Now, John Clayton.
This is Michael Bumpus. So Michael, big game coming up here against the Patriots, and I'm sure you studied the Patriots. And how good of a team do you think they are? Clearly, it's a different team. You know, they're down 5 starters on defense. They've lost 4 of their top 5 linebackers, 2 of their top 3 safeties, their right tackle, their receiving core isn't that much better than it was last year. But how good is this team?
John, I think they're a solid team, right? It's kind of hard to really identify them playing the Miami Dolphins. They have a different offense, like you mentioned. They're missing a bunch of guys on defense, but this defense still created 3 turnovers last week against Fitzpatrick. Gilmore showed up. Phillips showed up as well. Offensively, it's a different look. You know, this reminds me of a Carolina Panther offense where they're allowing Cam Newton to make decisions. You read that DN. If he bites, you take it. If he doesn't, you give it to the running back. Element is still there. He's not your over-the-top type receiver, but he's consistent. He'll find space. So this is a good team right now, John. A lot of things have to happen, right? N'Keal Harry has to step up and become a deep threat. Guys on defense have to continue to play well. And then we have to see what the progression of Cam Newton looks like throughout the rest of the season. I don't think this is the offense that's going to be played the rest of the year. I think they'll open it up as well. So after 1 week, John, it's kind of hard to figure out who teams are, but I think they're a solid team and need to be can't be taken lightly. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, no question. That's the one thing that you don't want to do is take anybody lightly, and particularly a team that's on a Sunday night. Patriots, and I think that's the one thing that's good about this team. They wouldn't take anybody lightly. Philosophy, I know that they let Russ cook. People are going crazy, thinking, oh yeah, well they're going to continue to pass the ball like this. But the coverage units that are out there for a Patriot team that, in many ways mirrors what the Seahawks want to do, build from the back to the front on defense. How do you think the offensive philosophy is going to change from last week?
John, I think the Patriots are preparing for a team that threw the ball 35 times. They had a quarterback complete almost 89% of his passes. So I feel like they're going to do things in the secondary to try to take that away. If you look at the New England defense, they like man. They play some man, and they'll get aggressive when you have the reigning defensive player of the year in Gilmore. You can do things like that. So I think they are preparing for what they saw last week. But I think the Hawks are going to come out and show more balance. They are still a run-first team. I think at this point, it's kind of hard to say, okay, this is a new offense. This is what they're going to do. I think they saw something. They took advantage of it. But I also think that they're capable of running the football. So if I'm the Patriots, I'm preparing for what I saw on film. But you can't forget, you still got Chris Carson back there. You still have Carlos Hyde. You still have Dwayne Brown, Upati, an offensive line that seems like they could do something once they start to gel, John.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's why I think that the strategy is going to be more two tight end sets. Certainly you can see a little bit more in last week's game, but there'll be even more because the idea is if here's a Patriot team that has three really good coverage cornerbacks. And so it's like, okay, if you can take one off the field, you're taking a little bit of their strength away. And also you have bigger bodies and more unpredictability out of two tight ends.
Yeah, and I like the two tight end set, especially when you have Will Dissly and Greg Olsen. Dissly only had a couple of catches, but he still contributed. Olsen obviously had his touchdown. It makes the game more physical, and I think the Hawks are okay with playing a physical game when you get inside that box. And like I said, you have two running backs back there who haven't really gotten a chance to show what they can do. So I anticipate them to come out and run the football. I expect, John, I expect them to do whatever is available. I think they'll come out and try to establish the run early, but as the game goes along, it starts to form its identity. And if things are open in the pass game, they'll take their shots. If things are open in the run game, they'll do that as well. So initially, I expect them to come out and run the rock, but as the game unfolds, things change.
What did you like about what you saw on Sunday in the game against Atlanta?
Offensively or defensively?
Both.
Offensively, I liked the screen game. I feel like that's a way to get the ball into your playmakers' hands early and allow them to use their attributes. There's not a lot of scheming that goes on in screen plays. You get into your guy, you get some guys on the second level to try to block it and make lanes for this guy, but you allow them to go. We saw them do that with David Moore, with Chris Carson, and I expect to see more of that. Defensively, I just like the way they let Jamal get after him. I believe he had, 10 pressures on the quarterback, John, and was really active and allowed him to be himself. I didn't feel like they were making him conform to what they like to do, which last year we would say they were super conservative, didn't blitz a lot, and just tried to keep everything in front. Now, in the secondary, they still try to keep everything in front, but they allowed this Jamal Adams to get loose. So now I want to see how the Patriots defend that. I feel like last week was talking with Nasser Chobe. The Atlanta Falcons just let him roam. They just let him do his thing. So I want to see what the pass do to slow him down.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's going to be interesting to watch. We watched in practice Russell Wilson looking better, and I don't know if he can be any better than he was against the Falcons.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to duplicate that, and that has to be tough on, I guess, the fans week one to see Russell do that because now it's an expectation, right? But we have to be realistic. This is football. There's going to be some tough games. He might only throw the ball 25 times, and if he completes somewhere around 70% of his pass instead of 89%, you take that. As long as he takes care of the football, you take that. So Russell Wilson just needs to be consistent. Does he have to complete 89% of his passes? No, I don't think so. If he does anything similar to what he did last year, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine this year. What did you like about the defense, or what things are you concerned about on the defense?
I would like to see the interior linemen just get a bit more pressure. Vince Mayo on the edge got a sack. Jamal Adams got a sack. But, especially this week, it's going to be essential that Poona Ford and Jerry Reed clog those gaps. You look at this New England offense, they run that read option, they get Cam up the A gaps and the B gaps, and that's where the big boys play. So I like to see them take care of those gaps and allow Bobby Wagner to work. If they can clog those gaps and have these guys improvise or bounce outside or try to cut back and hit another gap, that allows Bobby Wagner to roam and scrape down and fill the vacant gaps and make tackles. So interior linemen, they didn't play bad last week, but as every week, as we play every week, I like to see them step up a bit.
Yeah, no doubt. And of course, What'd you think of Benson Mayowa?
I thought he had a great debut as a Seahawk. You go out there, you get a couple pressures, you get a sack. He looked good. He did exactly what he was brought here to do, and that was to get sacks. Now, everyone gets beat. No one plays a perfect game. There's always some things he can work on, setting the edge when that's his responsibility. But as a debut for a Seahawk, one sack, you'll take it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And that was a pretty good start by him. Boy, we watched it all through practice this summer. People then were able to see what Jamal Adams can do. And in fact, he blitzed 11 times, had 4 pressures, 1 sack. I mean, how good is this safety?
Man, he's good, John. I knew he was good, and I knew he would come out and have a solid game, but I didn't expect that type of performance, John. Did you? I thought he played above and beyond what my expectations were going to be. And he's a guy who just looks comfortable. It doesn't look like the game's too fast. It doesn't look like there's a play he's hesitant about. I mean, even when he makes a mistake, he ran into Shaq and gave up that touchdown later in the game, but he bounces back and still is still making plays. There was every play, if you could watch Jamal Adams every single play, you would see him around the football, whether the football is way across the other side of the field, whether it's running down or running back on the backside, he's always around the football field, and that's fun to watch.
Yeah, and of course, I thought what was good is that Pete Carroll brought up what I think we all watched too, is that Bobby Wagner may have had his best game in coverage and passing situations. Really praised the way he was able to play in that regard.
Yeah, and how great is that, John? I mean, Bobby Wagner had one of his best games in coverages, and we're not even talking about it because there's another guy who was out there making plays. That just shows you that the more guys you got who can stand out and who can make plays, it takes less pressure off of guys. Last year, our focal point was Bobby. Bobby has to hold this down. Bobby has to do that. Now Bobby has some help. I mean, those guys were helping out last year, but now he has superstar-type help. So he led the league in tackles last year. People thought he had a down year. I wonder what we'll be saying about him around week 8 or 9.
Yeah, I think we're going to be saying a lot of good things. And again, they gave up the yards, but of course, those are kind of junk yards and all those things. And so now it's a matter of just having a good game. And how tough is it going to be to try to stop the Patriots running offense?
It's going to be tough. It's tough if guys don't just do their job, because when you run the offense that the Patriots run, it's about deception. It's about allowing Cam Newton to be right, allowing him to read the defense and pull and throw those RPOs. So it's going to present a different challenge. I think this week these guys really have to be tacklers. Last week the ball was on the perimeter a lot, out in open space, skill guy versus skill guy. This game's going to look different. This is going to be a Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright type game, to where these guys are going to have 10 to 12 tackles. They're going to have some run stuff on 3rd and 2nd. It's going to be a tougher type game. So it's a different challenge, but as long as these guys are disciplined and they just do their job, I think they'll be fun.
Yeah, no doubt. And so I think going to be kind of fun to watch. And it's going to be Sunday Night Football here. Everything does look as though they should be able to play the game, because I know that the AGI is now down to 175, at least as of about an hour or so ago. And it's supposed to get a little bit of rain, so it should clear up. There'll be some smoke and some problems. But again, the big problem right now for Seattle is just trying to contain Bill Belichick and the Patriots. But always great to talk to you, Michael Bumpus, and thanks for joining us.
All right, John. Have a good one, man.
Hey, be sure to check out the Professor's Notes on 710sports.com. The Professor's Notes are brought to you by Infinity of Tacoma and Fife. Coming up next, we're going to get the report card out, and of course, get your chance to get some grades going. It's the John Clayton Show, 710 ESPN Seattle.
Get to know the Hawks with a Players Spotlight every afternoon with Bob, Dave, and more.
Bruce Irvin of your Seattle Seahawks. You're facing the Patriots and Cam Newton Sunday night.
He's doing a great guy. I played Cam with 7 games, sacked him 9 times. So I would say I like my luck this week. The guys are a hell of a competitor, and it's gonna be a good matchup for us.
Get breaking news notifications on Hawks roster moves and injury updates with the 710 Sports app.
710 ESPN Seattle. Football season is just getting started, and maybe now is a good time to get that new TV you've been thinking about. This time, why not get a really good TV, like a Samsung, LG, or Sony? You know they're the top-rated sets, but their prices are higher. Well, that depends on where you shop. If you could get a cash gift card or hundreds of dollars for your old TV, would that make a difference? Well, you can if you shop at Video Only. Why buy online or at the club if you can get a better deal at Video Only? Hey DQ fans, the new Fall Blizzard treat menu is here. It's a lineup of all your favorite fall flavors blended with world-famous vanilla soft serve with pumpkin pie, caramel apple pie, Oreo mocha fudge, choco-dipped strawberry, brownie dough, and snickerdoodle cookie dough. Every bite feels like diving into fall, leaves and all. It's officially fall at DQ, so hurry and make the season sweeter with the new Fall Blizzard treat menu today.
Spend football season worrying about your team, not your roof. The rains are coming, so have your roof replaced now with State Roofing and pay zero down, zero interest, and zero payments for a year.
I'm a mom who carries a concealed pistol wherever I can. You can never be too safe. But let's be honest, my kids are too smart not to know where I keep it at home. And we can't watch them every minute. So I lock up my gun when it's not on me. I can grab it when I need it, and the kids can't.
Simple, secure, ready. Lock it up. For more information about safe storage and where to get a discount, go to lockitup.org.
Stay connected with the Mariners all year round on our social media channels. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, where you can follow all the action of this unique 60-game season. Looking for
Singular.
more Mariners content? Then subscribe to the Mariners.
Here's the definition of
singular.
Videos with your favorite players.
According to your dictionary, one who pretends to be what he is not, one who, or that which, simulates or counterfeits something, a pretender.
Social.
Similar repercussions. Similar repercussions.
Here is information from WordHippo.
Exploiting.
Here's the definition of explode, burst.
Exploiting addicted women. Okay. Spreading of disease.
According to Mayo Clinic, infectious diseases commonly spread through the direct transfer via viruses or other germs from one person to another.
Synonym for spreading.
Here are some synonyms for spread: lay out, open out, unfurl, unroll, roll out.
Disease.
Here is information from Word.
Policing.
Here's the definition of policing: the maintenance of law and order by a police force.
What's up, guys? Hey, Walter, what's up?
Hello?
Hi.
Hey.
Let's
Hey, I'm just glad I figured it out. So I was worried that I would not be able to, but now I see you. I guess you could see me and everything's fine.
I can see your name. I can't see your face.
Oh, how do I do that?
This there's down in the left-hand corner, probably you can click the little video icon.
Where it says share screen? It's a little
No.
green thing? Okay.
No.
Oh, where it says start video?
There you go.
Now can you see me?
Now I see you, but you need to, I can see your nostrils pretty good. There you go.
Okay.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good,
I'm
good.
doing good.
Thanks for
Hey,
joining us.
Yeah, I had a meeting this morning with some young plumbers. And remember we were talking about we wanted to franchise them in? Well, they want to become real estate investors. So I
Great.
told them, hey, I'll get you the link and come to the next meeting. And what we want from you guys is help doing plumbing jobs, to get rid of the management. They work for a plumbing company, and we can hire you directly as plumbers if we own the property, because we can pull our own permits.
Here's what I want you to do, Walter. Here's my idea for you. Walter and I have been talking, guys. We're on a little early. We're just kicking off here. Walter and I have been talking to tap it into contractors a little bit more. This is what I suggest you do, Walter, because we're not going to go on a deep dive on that subject today. But what I want you to do is I want you to get together a group of contractors, okay, that you think are going to fit into what it is that you and I have been talking about. And then you and I are going to schedule our private, separate meeting to update them on what's it all about, how we can work together, introduce them to what we're up, because for a platform like this, where we're going to have maybe 20 people or more on talking about whatever their questions are, is not the place to deep dive on that. Those of you who are listening, Walter has some ideas to introduce contractors in, not only as investors, but for more affordable labor to our group. And so let's corral that together, Walter, separately. And then once we've kind of got it together, we will come back into the larger group and introduce those people or whatever we come up with. Does that sound good to you?
That's exactly what I told them.
Excellent.
Perfect. We're on the same page without even talking to you.
Do me a favor. Can you take your screen? We can only see the top half of your head.
Oh,
we know how you're such a handsome guy. We want to see your whole face. So there you go.
Now can you see all of me?
We got you. That's better. Thank you. All right. Hey everybody, how's it going? Happy what day is it? Thursday. Keith, how you doing, brother? I like to pick on my friend Keith. He's one of my superstars here. And Deborah, how you doing? Hi everybody. Rush, thanks for joining us. We're gonna just kick it off and start talking. I'm gonna just kick it off by introducing myself, because some of you might not know who I am. You might maybe recognize my voice from my stand-up comedy show called The Nuts and Bolts of Real Estate Investing, with my partner here in crime, Joe Bauer, who's given the thumbs up. So a couple housekeeping, little administrative things that because we have some new people on every week joining us. My name is Julie Clark. This is what I look like without glasses. Hey, what's up? And I am the co-founder, along with my partner, Joe Bauer, of the Seattle Investors Club, which is kind of the OG in town, the old school real estate investors club. We know we have a lot of real estate investment clubs and opportunities for you guys to get educated here in the Pacific Northwest. And guess what the good news is? We're all friends. We all are friends and buddies with each other. So we've got, Fixated on Real Estate, and our big, huge monster group, WARI, that's hosted by our friend Jan. And for those of you that don't know and are not aware, tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow is kicking off the biggest, most badass real estate virtual expo that you will probably ever attend. And that is hosted by our friend Tarl Yarber at, it's called the Pacific Northwest Big Badass Real Estate Expo. Joe, maybe you can grab a link to their website if anybody's interested. Super affordable to grab a ticket to attend this 2-day virtual real estate investor extravaganza. It's going to knock your socks off in regards to the information that'll be available to you through this conference, which I highly recommend if you are in the real estate game as a broker, investor, lender, whatever, wholesaler, that you engage and get plugged into this event. So I'll be there and virtually, of course. And I just wanted to shout that out. All the big players in town that are great educators in the Pacific Northwest, as well as, outside, will be there sharing and dropping some major info there. So that is that. What else can I tell you? For those of you that don't know me, I am a local investor and real estate broker. I've been in the game over 20 years. Yes, I know I don't look that old, but I am. I'm the old mama around the group here. Co-founder of Seattle Investors Club, and Joe and I host a podcast called The Nuts and Bolts of Real Estate Investing. That is actually started because I coach a lot of other investors and brokers, and rather than having to talk to them one-on-one all the time, we started a podcast years and years ago with over 120 episodes now that answers a lot of the questions I get on a daily and weekly basis. Plus, I use it as my personal tool. When I want to learn about something, I just record a podcast about it and share it with my friends. So if you want to check that out, it's at seattleinvestorsclub.com. And you can check out and grab all our podcasts and listen on your favorite devices through there. Also, if there's any topic you want us to cover, you guys can always message me and I will put that on the list. So we kind of took the summer off, but we are banking our schedule back up here starting next week to bring you new and refreshing content. So to kick that off, anybody have any questions today or need any help with anything before I start calling out people or asking some wants and needs that I have for my own? Go ahead and unmic yourself if you want while you're not talking. I'm just going to say, guys, house rules while you're not talking. Hit your mute button. Walter, hit your mute button. Okay. And when you want to talk, just unmute yourself so we don't get any of the background noise. And we'll go from there. So what's up, Jocelyn? How you doing? Introduce yourself. Tell us what's up, who you are, what your favorite.
So my name is Jocelyn. I'm a real estate agent, and long-term I want to get into maybe a little bit of wholesaling, but more wholesaling for the purpose of renovating and flipping houses. So I have a question. I came across a seller in Crown Hill who says she's got an 8,000 square foot lot and she's in an old home that she thinks is a tear down.
Well, guess what? I live like 5 blocks from there.
So maybe you know of this house. And I admittedly, I haven't talked to her in a week or so because I wasn't sure what to do with it. She doesn't want to list, as most people, you know, they don't want to go through all that. She just wants to sell to a developer in the thought of, you know, somebody who would tear down and throw some townhomes on it. She says it's been rezoned. I haven't looked up the zoning yet. And she has a price in mind. I wasn't sure.
What's the price in mind? And there's all that's been rezoned over there, and Crown Hill is being picked over like crazy in regards to either keep the front house and build townhomes in the back or tear down, you know, the whole thing, depending on the condition. Do you have a price point? And I can know whether she's nuts or not.
So 8,000 square foot, 800,000.
Oh.
Now I know there was a couple in the neighborhood in the $500,000 range at about between 4,000 and 6,000 square foot lots. And I know, tear down, you still have all that work to put into tearing it down and clearing the lot. I would just, ideally in my mind, I would love to find a builder and wholesale it to him or her, in, you know, hopes for relisting any sold finished products.
Which brokerage firm are you at?
Home Realty.
Will they allow you to wholesale?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Because wholesaling is a word for people that don't have a license.
Right.
Right.
So how would I, as an agent, go about, I've never done any like wholesaling. I know as you're wholesaling, if you're an agent, you're not selling the house, you're selling the contract. So I don't know like the technical, and I don't know anything about how you go about getting a contract and how you write in a wholesale fee, whether it's before or after. And you can tell me you're too green for this question right now. It's okay.
No, you're not. Actually, go listen to podcast 63 that we
63.
Right.
Okay.
Also, you know, does anybody here want to help Jocelyn? Because this is I can certainly help her, but I don't want to take it for myself when we've got, you know, all these people on the line. I want everybody to have an opportunity. If you think you've got a buyer to work with Jocelyn on, I definitely do. But I want to offer it up to everybody. So if you want to help Jocelyn right now, I need you to speak up before I help her myself. This is not me trying to take stuff from anybody. This is me helping uplift everybody here. So anybody here that can help Jocelyn, speak up, or I'm going to connect with her offline so we don't take all day talking about this today in front of
Get it, Julie, get it.
Yeah. Okay. So Jocelyn.
Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you text me at my number 206-910-2985. And
Okay.
why don't you also text me the address if you feel comfortable doing so. I'm never going to go around your back because my reputation means more to me than any deal. But that'll allow me to, as I'm tooling around, because it's 5 minutes away or less from my house, I can drive by and look at it and tell you what the dealio is. And then I can potentially also connect you with the appropriate buyers and we'll figure something out.
Okay,
and
awesome.
If anybody wants to talk about what to do if you're a broker, is anybody here a broker? Because I don't want to waste time that doesn't apply to everybody's interest on stuff. If you are a real estate broker here on the call today and you want to wholesale, unmic yourself and say me or put it in the chat or something, and I can start talking about that. But otherwise, I, again, can talk to Jocelyn one-on-one so we can keep rolling here. Anybody a real estate broker here that wants to wholesale as part of their biz? It's not as easy as, you know, learning how to wholesale and then going and putting things under contract. And, you know, you have to inform your brokerage firm, right? You have disclose your license, of course, to the sellers. You've got to, your brokerage firm might want to take a bite out of any type of wholesale fee that you have. You have an issue if you're trying to make some huge giant profit without properly informing the seller of their other options as an agent. That would be not good, right? That doesn't mean just because you tell somebody that you intend to make a large profit, they're not going to accept your off-market deal. You've just got to disclose to them that, right? You've got to have certain things in your contract saying that, you know, you're not acting as a broker in this transaction, that there is no agency relationship in this transaction, and that you are representing you know, the buyer as a principal with the intent for investment purposes and planning to make a significant profit. Now, that all might sound like, why the hell would somebody work with me on that? Well, guess what? Because people who want to sell and sell off market, they don't care as long as they get the number that, go ahead, Keith, that they are.
They're lazy.
Right?
They're
And
lazy.
so,
They want the one number and that's it. That's all that matters.
that's right. But for your licensing and legal reasons, you need to get the approval of your broker, find out if they're going to let you do it, and if they're going to want to take a bite, like they take a bite out of your commission if you're on a cap. You need to ask them. You will not likely be covered on your E&O policy. Okay, so these are all things we can deep dive into further. I did teach a class how to be a broker investor, which is my specialty, which can cross over into wholesaling. I personally don't think you need to wholesale at all if you have a real estate license. And that's because you shouldn't be selling to anybody that you don't know anyways as a wholesaler, whether you have a license or not. That's the fastest way for your deal to fall apart and make a shit going downhill and blow up in your face. And you don't, just because you're out of the deal doesn't mean you're out of the deal. So shit rolls downhill and it sticks. Okay. Don't forget that. So happy to deep dive on all that further. or anybody that wants to hit me up for a one-on-one discussion, you guys have my number. I'll put it in the chat, which is Julie's cell. You guys can call me anytime about anything up to, 7 p.m. in the evening. After that, I might have had a cocktail and I'm not sure what I'll say. So, no, just kidding. There you go. That's my cell. Text me is best if you want to talk to me. Anybody else have anything going on this week, that any type of news announcements or things they want to shout out before we go into some nuts and bolts and deep dive stuff?
Yeah, Julie. Today, the Rental Housing Association filed another lawsuit against the city of Seattle, challenging the winter eviction ban, the 12-month eviction ban after the emergency is over, and the requirement for payment plans for at least a year after COVID is over.
You got to say who you are and hello first, and then I can brag on you.
William Shotbolt. Hello.
Hello. Well, and William, what's your involvement in all that, so we can put this major spotlight of huge credibility?
I'm a member of the board of directors of RHA. I'm the current past president and part of the legal defense fund.
Super qualified, good person to know, to have in your Rolodex right here, guys. So recap it for us one more time. We know that we have an eviction ban and a winter eviction ban on top of that in the Seattle area.
Yeah, so we're challenging the lawful authority of the winter eviction ban, predominantly because state law gives us that ability to do that, and it is overriding state law, which is unconstitutional in itself. And then when COVID first occurred, there was an immediate rush to pass multiple ordinances that came into effect after the emergency order was lifted. So clearly there isn't that enough nexus during the emergency to pass it. There was two ordinances there. One was extending an eviction moratorium to an arbitrary amount of time after the emergency order was lifted, and the requirement payment plans. The interesting thing about the payment plans is there's no other industry that we found where the government forces somebody to give interest-free loans effectively to their customers. There just isn't.
And we're talking about this in just the city of Seattle, is that
correct?
Right. So
correct.
If your rentals are outside the city of Seattle, you might have, there's a state, is it?
There's a state moratorium as well as the city moratorium. And that is being challenged in a separate lawsuit, or at least one lawsuit that's already been filed. I couldn't possibly comment about other lawsuits that are being prepared on that issue.
But if you are a rental property owner in the city of Seattle, well, eviction, no, but so that's one, you can't evict, right? But if you sell your property, you have just cause, right, to give a certain amount of notice.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it is, so the last iteration of the governor's proclamation gave two additional options. And one of them was if you intend to move into the rental unit, and the other one is if you intend to sell. You had to give 60 days notice. However, the Seattle mayor's eviction proclamation doesn't allow you to do that. So it is going to be interesting. I do know that there are people that have given the 60-day notice with intent to sell. And it's going to be interesting to see if the tenants refuse to move out and try and use the mayor's proclamation as defense.
Oh, the mayor's proclamation.
Yeah, so the mayor of Seattle's proclamation doesn't include that exemption that if you're selling a rental property, that you can give notice during the emergency period.
So what's the point of the just cause then?
So just cause has been in effect for many years. There's only really been one challenge that's been significant to Seattle's just cause, and that's whether it applies to fixed term leases, and it doesn't. That particular case was called Karlstrom versus Hanline. And so, if you have Seattle rentals, you're much more in control if you have fixed term leases as opposed to month to month.
Yeah, they all are. It's birthday.
Deborah, turn off your mic. Deborah Starr, turn off your mic. So what about people who have rentals in Pierce County or Snohomish County? What type of restrictions are they on right now?
So they are on the statewide governor moratorium. So that notionally expires on the 15th of October. However, there's a work group that's been meeting for the last few weeks. Unfortunately, it was completely stacked with people that are advocating for the tenants as opposed to the landlords. There's literally 2 people that are not elected officials that are representing landlords versus I think about 8 that are representing tenants. And you know, we're just trying to make it a little bit more palatable. And I think now that we've got rental assistance programs, you know, I'm really questioning why do we have these moratoria in the first place. You know, what it seems to be doing is encouraging and enabling people that are able to pay and just saying, I'm not. You know, there's no enforcement mechanism, so I'm just not going to pay you.
What do you predict on all this? What's your intelligent prediction on how all this is going to shake out? We're stuck like this through the end of the year for sure, even if they're fighting the winter eviction ban, you know.
Yeah, so here's the issue is you've got a statewide moratorium that nationally expires on the 15th of October. It's most likely going to get expanded. Even if it does expire on October the 15th, you then have this odd order from the CDC that is effective until the end of the year. That's already being challenged in court. I just don't see how the CDC can start making up laws and legislating. It just doesn't have that authority. And I suspect that there'll be an injunction that will be nationwide that'll throw that out.
Let's flip this around for a second. Does anybody have a tenant here that they need to evict? Anybody here today? Does anybody have a tenant that's not paying that they're working with? My tenant's paying full market rent on time. So, but that's in Ballard. You know, I have an apartment building in Lakewood, and our rental collections are down a bit, but nothing, we're still doing our huge normal distributions and stuff like that. So nothing that's affecting us so bad. Has anybody had any success evicting anybody or doing a cash for keys or dealing with a tenant whatsoever?
I have an eviction going out in Ohio right now. They're supposed to be out on Friday. The sheriff will show up on Monday.
And what are you under you're under any like restrictions out there? And how did you get it done?
We were under restrictions. The county lifted them. I was able to get through the court, and it's moving forward. So,
William, do you think there's going to be like a 1 week pocket of time that if you like a strategy where you should file your eviction on the 16th or whatever day of the week is the next work day, and like kind of like spot hold in case you get some sort of if you booked it within that week, then you're going to be able to do it like a grandfathered in before they make another change?
I think it's worth talking to your eviction attorney about doing that. The one issue that has come up in addition to the moratoria is I know there's one eviction, I think it's up in Snohomish County, where the court ordered the eviction under the health and safety exemption that's been there for some time. And the county sheriff went to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor told them not to enforce it. So we've got a situation where you've got a court order ordering the sheriff to do something, and the prosecutor telling the sheriff not to, which is just, I mean, that's the craziness that we're living in 2020.
It is some craziness, some all good information to pay attention to, no doubt. So
if you're interested in any more information about the lawsuit that was filed today, I will post in the chat a blog link that has more details.
I want to say, Joe, does anybody have a contact at LT Services, which is an eviction services that lots of people like to use?
Yeah, I know Christopher Cutting very well. He owns LTS.
Cutting or Cunning?
Cutting. Christopher Cutting.
Christopher Cutting, Joe Bauer. Joe and I like to have meetings in front of you guys while we do this every week. Joe, can you reach out to LT Services unless William, you have a contact?
Yeah, I've got his emails. So Joe, if you want to shoot me an email and I'll introduce you to Christopher.
And let's get him on the podcast, Joe.
He would be a great one. He's very good.
It'd be ideal to get him on, Joe, by before the October 15th date. So if he tells anybody, yeah, let's do like a strategy thing to drop in some of your eviction stuff, you know, in some sort of 1 or 2 week pocket that everybody can hear that. So that's cool. Thank you, William. Appreciate it.
If anybody's got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Unfortunately, I do have to drop off. I'm dealing with a family emergency that I have to deal with right now.
If anybody needs William's contact or needs anything help like that, just hit me up and I'll connect you with him so he can jump off. All right. What else we got, guys? Keith, you got anything?
It's busy out there. It's
Yeah.
really busy out there. I am talking to agents weekly about doing closings that are less than 30 days. And so if I get a mutually accepted offer that crosses my desk and the closing date's not at least 30 days out, I'm calling them immediately upon receipt and telling them that we're not going to close in time. It's just that busy.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, Keith Pitch, Loan Depot. I make mortgage magic happen.
Yes.
But right now we can't make that time happen. So if we don't have a full 30 days on a contract, the mortgage pipelines are just so epically huge that it's going to be hard pressed, if not impossible, to close on time.
Right.
So don't write anything less than 30 days.
My mind races with all kinds of like, you know, what an opportunity for people. Like you know, I was reading this morning because I like to read in my driveway after I get a cup of coffee at like 6 in the morning.
Nice.
There's, you know, Homeward is a startup that is out on the East Coast more. They work Texas and some of those markets, right? And they have the program where they will buy your next house for cash and cash you out of, you know, your existing, they'll basically, if you are getting ready to sell your home, they'll buy your next home for cash.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can actually rent it from them so you can move just one time. Then you can go list your home for sale. And if for some reason you don't get it sold, they'll buy it, of course, at a discount.
Right.
It's called Homeward. But, you know, just interesting opportunity for, I don't know, private lenders and stuff like that to step in and help with stuff. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and you know, everything comes with a cost, right? So I think that there's other ways to still win deals and not have to sell the farm on a closing date.
Yeah.
Unless the seller is specifically tied to that. It was one thing back in the last ramp up that we had in 16 and 17 that, yeah, okay, hey, let's smash it with a 20-day closing or what have you, and show the seller that we can move fast for them. But right now, just given the volume of refinances going on, it's not going to happen from an appraisal standpoint. It's not going to happen from a fulfillment standpoint. A 20-day close is not going to happen right now.
Right. Let's talk about like some stuff that could be offered to a seller in order for you to compete in that sort of situation. You could offer, obviously, to pay more, pay a premium, which would be covering essentially their mortgage payment. You know, mortgage payments on houses that you're looking to buy can sometimes actually be quite low. You know, they can be quite low, and that's a great way to, you know, offer to release some money enough to cover mortgage payments, you know, and a released earnest money. But let's be frank, the offers, if you're competing today that are winning, are releasing earnest money. They are waiving everything. They are escalating. You know, what are some things that you can do to win in that circumstance? Really go deep on listening to the seller needs. For example, I just had a property in Woodinville sell, and all the offers came in. They're escalating, and they all end up kind of escalating in some ways to the same point. You're always looking for who's got enough money to gap a low appraisal these days. But one of the things that the smart agents that were calling me, and this could go for an investor property, it could go for whatever, and said, ask me, what does the seller want and need? And I said, we have an air hockey table that weighs a ton, and we literally have to use a crane to get it out of there. If your buyer will allow us to leave the air hockey table there and the trampoline that is a pain in the ass to get rid of, and you will take that and deal with it, that's a term. It has nothing to do with money, right? Necessarily. Like, just, you gotta really, and like any lead that you're going on, you gotta go and find out what else besides price. And when they say, well, we just, most of the time they'll say, oh, we just want a clean offer, highest price, clean offer. Well, that's not necessarily true. They just don't even know what else. So you start saying, would your seller like a rent back for a while? Would they like would they like, like on a septic inspection, let's say it's a house that has septic, you can write into your contract that the buyer will pay for the septic inspection. These are little things, right? And sometimes what happens when you do little things is that the other agent on the other end is like, oh, this agent's easy to work with. And that alone right there, if they think that you are going to be easy to work with, can get a deal done, right? So the problem is if you're a seller, so when you are representing a seller, then when you are talking to the buyer's agents, you need to call every single one of those lenders and say, can you really close this fast? And you need to hear it from the horse's mouth, right? Have you had anybody do anything creative, Keith, that you're seeing?
Nothing past what you've already said. I mean, waiving everything, and then some of them are doing like a progressive release of earnest money. Like, if there is a contingency in there, they're saying, hey, we'll release half the earnest money upon the inspection or what have you. But there's just waiving everything. And that puts us in a really scary position when it comes to the finance contingency, because if you waived your finance contingency and we don't meet the closing date because of time, then you're really in a hard place.
Right.
So,
I mean, you could do all kinds of creative stuff, right? But it is. So Scott's got a question. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, hey, I've got 3 refis going right now. Turned in the paperwork on August 1st. Just curious how long it's taking to get through the process these days. We're about 8 weeks in.
It's taking a while, Scott. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Mortgage companies, you as a refinance, we really, really love your business and you're taking advantage of these great rates. So good on you there. We still, based off the contractual obligation of a purchase, we put you guys, the refinances, at the end of the line. So there is hurdle number 1, your second fiddle to purchases, and hurdle number 2, we're about 200% of the volume that we were, as an industry, we're 200% of the volume we were doing last year. So right now I can tell you Loan Depot's analytics is we're closing a refinance on average at 56 days, right? So from application to funding date, it's 56 days. That has been super steady at that number since about July, beginning of July. So you're 8 weeks into it. You should be coming out the other side of the tunnel is where in our system you would be coming out. And everybody's going to be a little bit different. I've heard big regional banks are like 120 days to get a deal done. So it's really based off the lender and the lender's capacity. But you are, patience comes to those, or good things come to those who wait, and your patience is super tremendously appreciated right now because
Hey, Keith, are they going to are you guys going to have overlays and spreads that bump up just to control your pipeline to close the door a little bit?
Oh, the whole industry's already done that, you know. So that's the cycle of the mortgage industry. If you want to know the inner workings on the backside, we will go out and we'll cut our rate, we'll cut our margin, compress it, and bring in a ton of business, right? And then what happened, we started the year out that way. In February, we got really aggressive, and then COVID hit. And then the Fed started relieving rates, and we raced to the bottom as a whole industry. And then all of a sudden, by the end of March, the whole industry is at capacity. So everybody's incrementally jacked up their interest rates a little bit as far as, hey, I've got enough that I need right now. If I'm going to bring anything more in, I'm going to pad my margin and kick up the interest rate a little bit. So yeah, that's definitely happening. And each individual mortgage bank, as they fulfill their loans and they need more pipeline to come in, they'll lower their interest rate. So you'll see a lot of variance right now. Not everybody's playing at the same level. You'll see a lot of variance in the industry right now from lender to lender to lender. So
right.
it's
Keith,
yeah.
Because obviously we love Keith, guys, and Keith is one of my favorite go-tos, my buddy, and super smart, and that's why we love hanging out with Keith, and we love Loan Depot and everything he can do for us, right? Because he's investor minded as well. But to be fair, right, let's just say if we're not talking, we don't think about ourselves here. We do, but we want to. This is a collaborative environment here. It would be fair to say that if you are off looking for a loan to like get it, you know, like you need to shop around to see whose pipeline is open at the lowest rates, right? I mean, you really need to, you know, because like Keith might have a week or 10 days open where his rates are going to be low, and then that pipeline gets full and they're going to be bumped up. So you need to be checking all the probably non-depository banks, you know, not the Bank Americas and Chases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the lenders that they're going to have different windows of opportunity for you to get in and grab those low rates, right?
Well, yeah. So we manage pipeline two ways. Number one, we just discussed about pricing, but number two, product, right? We at Loan Depot, and it freaked me out. At the beginning of April, we cut off cash out refinances and non-owner investment properties. We just said, we're not doing any more of those loans right now because we have so much, right? So that's the two ways that you as a mortgage company can manage what's coming in the front door, is by your array of price or your array of product and your price. So we have since, good news is we have since rolled back out cash out refinances as well as non-owner occupied refinances. But that's how you have to look at the situation right now. And we will then price different stuff accordingly, right? Like right now, I can tell you, condo wise, I am not the best place on the market today. I know that because right before this call, I just got blown out of the water by some guy. So long story short, now it's more important to shop, but shop in the right way. Shopping should be a theoretical thing. So you theoretically have a 740 credit score, you're buying a single family residence, you have X amount for cash down, and then get 3 different quotes from 3 different lenders or however many lenders you want to go to.
Do we add cash reserves to that?
Depending if you're in the jumbo market, yes. If you're in the conventional market, no. Because
what about cash out refis?
Cash out refis? Yeah. What about cash out refis? Do you need
anything
reserves?
You need extra there? Yeah.
Again, the jumbo market wants reserves. The conforming market doesn't care, right?
What are jumbo rates at today?
Jumbo rates in the high 2s, low 3s, depending on credit score and overall situation.
Right.
Yeah. So it's important to do your shopping right now, but don't go to one lender, make an online application. They pull your information as far as your credit report, and then go to another one, let them pull your credit report. It will take a snapshot of your credit report at that time, but then down the road, all those inquiries are going to show up after that 30-day freeze. We take like a profit and loss statement at that time. if you came to me on today is 9/17, you got 30 days before your score is going to reflect all those inquiries. So you can go out there and get more mortgage inquiries, but then long-term, if you're looking to buy multiple properties, then not just this one transaction, all those inquiries are going to show up, and they're going to show up in force and take your score down.
There you go.
Yep.
Good. Anybody have any other lending? I know we got Deborah here is also a lender. Deborah, you want to pipe in whenever you feel like it? Deborah Starr, also lender with us here today. If anybody else is a lender here, speak up. Again, we're here to promote everybody.
Deborah Starr actually is in the mortgage insurance world. She helps us for all those folks that have less than a 20% down payment. She helps us facilitate those deals and get that mortgage insurance.
Awesome. We love you, Deborah. Thanks for joining us.
I have a lender question.
Go for it.
Go for it, Walter.
Okay. I need help. I have two scenarios. One is to rehab my mother's house and put it on the market and sell it. The other is, since she owns it free and clear, is to refinance it, keep her in it, and use the money to pay the mortgage and to pay her caretakers. Now, I am living in the house too, so I can contribute to those payments. So I need to figure out what my family's, I'm in charge. I'm second on her, in control of my mom's estate. My sister has primary function for that.
Somebody's got to be able to qualify for the mortgage payment. Your mom or whoever, right, Keith?
My mom won't be able to.
Walter, how old's your mother?
My mom's 91 and she's incompetent. My sister has power of attorney. I'm second in line in power of attorney. So my sister wants just to sell the house, and I said, okay, we'll buy it. My friend will loan me $300,000. I could buy the house, put 10% down, use the other money to fix the house up and to pay the mortgage payments until we sell the house. But that's plan B. Plan A, I told my friend and my family, let's try to figure out a way to keep my mom in this house. So if she owns it free and clear, it comped at, fixed up at 1.5 million. We said $900,000 we'll sell it for. It needs a lot of work. We lived in this house for its entire existence. We watched it being built.
Oh, wow.
60 years ago. So it has a panoramic view of Lake Washington, 6 bedrooms, panoramic view, 3,000 square feet. So we have to make a decision, and I need help from people like you to put together two scenarios: buy, for me to buy and sell, one to keep my mom in the house, and then I just want to hook up with someone after the meeting and go through. Obviously, we don't want to spend all the time hashing out these details. So I just need either. I was told to talk to you, mortgage loan lender, Loan Depot person. What is
Keith?
Keith, yeah. Keith. I was told to talk to you. So first, I'd like to sit down and maybe go over the particulars with you at a different time over the phone, probably, since everyone's doing this over this way. But I'll meet you in person. I'd rather talk to person, but it's up to you.
Send me an email and let's get something on the calendar.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And just like what Judy says, I need to check 3 people, but I want to check with you first, Keith, because I was told to check with you first. So I just what I'm told. So it was by Daniel. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's a member of this group.
Yeah, I know Daniel.
Yeah, he told me to check with Keith first, and just like what you said, Julie, check with Keith and check with 2 other. That's what I'm doing this whole process with the windows, the everything, electrical, get 3 bids like any other investor would do. So okay.
Where's
Keith,
the house, Walter? What part of town is it?
It's in central Seattle, right 2 blocks south of I-90. No, I mean 2 houses south of I-90.
Okay.
It's almost right on the tunnel.
Nice.
Mount Baker.
Perfect.
Wow.
Neighborhood. So Keith, what is your email? How do I get emails? How do I get your email address, Keith?
I put it in the chat. If you can access the chat.
If you can't access the chat, Walter, just text me and I'll give you Keith's.
Okay. I think I can access the chat.
And if anybody else wants to speak up, Walter, I'm also available. Anybody else is also, you're welcome to speak up. that if you wanted somebody to come lay eyes on the house from a market value and
I would like that. I would like a real estate agent to come out and talk. Julia, it might as well be you because I trust you the most. Not that, not you know, you're the only one I really know. That's why I trust you. So,
no problem.
I don't know. Do you know who Dean Street was?
Dean Street?
Yeah.
Don't know Dean Street. No.
Okay. He was the #1 agent back in the early 2000s. He trained me on how to flip houses. Dean
Nice.
Street. So, some people out there might know who his name. He's not famous, but in the real estate world. Okay, so Julie, I'll email you. I already have your email. We're already hooked up email. And Keith, I see your email on here. So I'm going to email Keith and you, Julie, and we can set up time to talk about this later. So, okay?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, people. Thank you, everybody.
You got it, Walter.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, you're Keith Posh, right?
Yep, Keith Pitch.
Pitch,
This is
okay.
silent. Yeah.
Okay, Keith Pitch. Okay, I see it right there. I'm gonna write it down. Beautiful. All right.
Deborah, we do. Joe posts the recording of this every week that you can pick up for sure. Let's see. Tanya, you want to speak up? What's up, Tanya?
Am I muted?
No.
No. Okay, good. My window is really small. Yeah, so I was just asking about HELOCs. I just went on a listing appointment, and their house, the sellers do need to do some rehab, but they have no cash. So my question was about HELOCs. They went to both their credit unions, Navy Fed and BECU, and they got a no-go. And the lenders that they spoke to said they weren't doing any, which I was surprised. But so they're in the market. So I'll definitely check in with you guys or send them your way.
Yeah, Tanya, we just rolled out a new HELOC through a regional credit union. So we partnered with them in an alliance. They are awesome. The majority of the pipeline, just as the first mortgage market is super, super hot and busy, so is the HELOC market. You know, so I did have a client that closed or just got a HELOC through BECU, and she said it took her 4 months to get it through. So that's why we're trying to resubordinate it behind her new first mortgage. She's like, I don't want to go through that again. So I get it. A lot of them are just, you know, they're up to their ears in applications, so they're stopping the train right now.
Okay.
We've got our internal HELOC that we have, and then we have 2 other HELOC outlets, and they cut off all refinances. They were only doing purchases because their volume is so high.
Right. And so what are we looking time-wise for the HELOC? Because that's the other thing is we're on a time crunch. They're, you know, it's a divorce situation, so they're needing to.
You know,
What's the price point, Tanya?
It's in Auburn, Edgewood area, so we're looking at like between 4.25 and 4.75, depending on how much they do.
What kind of work needs to be done?
Kitchen rehab, bathroom. One of the bathrooms is really weird. It's got like the tub and shower, and then there's a wall, and then right next to it was a stand-up shower that they never did anything with. I have never seen that fun, and there needs to be some work on the floor right there, so they may have to take the old steel tub out. It's kind of crazy, but
dual shower action. That's
yeah. I'm like, what?
So it's not an investor type deal because you said they need kitchen, bathroom, flooring. Not an investor type price. They need their requirement on cash out is higher than an investor will get them.
Right. Yep. Yep. Yeah, because I already was thinking.
Speaking my language, Tanya. What brokerage firm you at?
Keller.
Like,
can I make a?
I could solve that problem for you in without. I could solve that problem for you. Those are my favorite appointments in a millisecond through like, you know, the whole pay close model stuff.
The Curbio style. Yeah. Yes. So I brought that up to them because we do that as well, my team. But The husband, I think, wants to like boss it himself.
Yeah.
So I brought it up. They're thinking about it.
My fear in those situations is that agents do too much, right?
Mhm.
Everybody thinks like, well, it's available. They can do it. They have room. They have equity. They can do it. No, the market we're in a seller's market. It's super hot, right? You should attempt to sell that house with as little work done as possible, because you're putting the seller in a risky position once they spend that money that they might not be able to get it back. And we're in a market where there's no inventory, tons of buyers, and low interest rates, a perfect storm. And so while we might have some tools available to us for those that are smart, that doesn't mean that we should use them. And I think most likely, unless they have something that's not financeable for some reason, you should attempt. Is the problem that even if you cleaned it up to be its best version of itself, the proceeds would not reach their needs to move forward? Like they need an uptick in their proceeds? Or is it just like, hey, let's do this because I'm a guy that likes to refinance stuff and I know I have equity. You need to be a good broker and you need to talk them out of that and tell them that that's unnecessary and risky. And the only way that they need to do something like that is if it's just not worth it for them to sell because they can't move on with their lives with the proceeds they would get. You know, is it want or a need? You know?
Yeah. I mean, my gut thing is the want, but so I'm going to also meet with our contractor that we usually use so that the husband can really see the number of like, what's it looking like? Because I think in his mind, even though I've told him, here's this price ticket, here's this, here's this, here's this. I think he needs to like see it black and white of like, oh, that's a, $50,000 rehab, and are we really going to get it because the market there isn't right? Exactly. Keith is like, nope, you're not.
You're not.
You're likely to list it at a good price and get a lift off that.
Yes, exactly what I said.
Try and hit a market value that you're trying to renovate.
Right.
Yep. These are the things that I love. This is my forte. This is where my wheelhouse. So if anybody's out there who is a broker that is interested in joining my inner circle, man, I love, this is it right here.
And one thing that you can't really manifest in a time or in a dollar amount, you can go in there and say, hey, the bathroom's going to be $15,000, the kitchen's going to be $40,000, you're $60,000 into it, and it's going to take 45 days to get the HELOC done. It's going to take the contractor another 45 to 50 days to get all the stuff done in the house. So you're looking now, the time value, it's not worth it at all because we don't know, especially going into this winter. This winter is bad winter. This is like a convergence of an election, which could be very volatile, a Fannie and Freddie Mac coming out of conservatorship in 2021. And really, we don't know the depths of this recession that we're just tipping the nose of the Titanic into. So
good news is, they're not raising rates until like 2023, something crazy.
Well, and hold on, I'm sorry. Let's not put any value into that because they cannot see 3 years down the pipeline.
Well, and let's also remind everybody that even if that's the case, as we just discussed, the lenders put their own overlays on top. So just because the Fed says whatever doesn't mean the lenders are responding that way because they have to control their pipelines and their products. And so just because rates could be low, good, unless you're some ninja and working with great broker like Tanya, you might not know that you need to basically be ready to drop your line into that stream when it's, you got to be working with people that know what they're doing these days, whether you're an investor or whatever, because there's so much bouncing around happening that a lot of people think just because they can means they should, and that's not the case.
And so, Keith, you were saying that the HELOC could potentially, that was my other quick question, potentially for them knowing timeline, it'll take about 45 days?
Yeah, about 45
roughly?
days.
Okay, good to know.
So HELOCs, you know, and that's another topic. Remember we were talking about, Keith, how you might end up with sellers that want to buy their next place. They have lots of equity and they still have great jobs and they can qualify for to carry both loans temporarily so they can buy their new place, right? What are we laughing at? Don't do it. Kid stuff.
My kids are squirting whipped cream into each other's mouths. I'm sorry. It's lunchtime here at the cafeteria.
Yeah, yeah. You know what would be really funny though, Keith, is if you took a hit off that yourself while we were talking to you. Come on, go Keith. Let's do it. Come on. All right.
They're not willing to share the bottle. They're like, no, I'm not bringing it over to you.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, right? So we have people that we get a lot of, another fun situation is the sell buy, right? And, you know, the options for people who want to buy their new place don't necessarily need to sell their new place before they, or sell their current place before they do that. They're always asking, should I just like get a purchase loan or should I maybe refinance my existing house or what? And you know, that might, I don't know if that changes also bounces around, Keith, or if the answer is it's always going to be faster to go with the purchase loan.
Rephrase the question. Say that one more time.
Remember, for example, when we were doing Estrella's deal too, right? We were considering whether she should, or even Joanna and our new one, the seller who's going to also buy, right? That can qualify, either they own their place free and clear and they have no existing loan, or they can carry two loans, right? Their choices are to either refinance their existing home, get the cash out to close on the new one, right? Or do a purchase loan on the new one, right? And then sell their current residence. Timing wise, and what do you say about all that?
They should purchase. If they can service both debts, they should purchase first and get out of the old house.
Then get out of the old house because it's faster.
One, it's faster, and two, there's no transition of transientness, right? They won't be stuck between houses. That's a huge issue for people. And that's one of the biggest setbacks that people have right now as far as making that move up, specifically making that move up, is they're like, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to go live with my husband's parents for 2 months. I don't blame you. So if you have the ability from a debt to income ratios perspective, bridge and get into the next house, either through a bridge loan or through just putting minimal down at 5%. A lot of people don't realize how cheap mortgage insurance really is. Deb Starr could totally talk to you about how affordable this is to get into a house with minimal down, and so can I. But
and then go ahead and pay it off, right?
And then turn around. Once you get the excess proceeds, you can do a principal reduction if you want to. You could turn around and refinance. Probably wouldn't be cost effective as a principal reduction, but you can still lock in the low rate, because what people don't realize is people wait for 20% down, and an 80% loan to value loan is actually priced more expensive than a 90% loan to value loan. The reason why is the mortgage lender, if there's a default, we got that insurance policy paying us. At 80%, we're going to the homeowner and taking them to court to recoup any losses. So it's funny that this perception of 80%, I have to wait till I get there, that is one of the biggest hurdles I have always come up against, and that's one of the biggest hurdles we continue to come up against. And my dog is barking at me.
Hey, I got another question, and you guys pipe in and cut me off because I'm doing all the talking here. What if, Keith, where somebody is, uses, does a purchase loan, and to buy their new place they're moving to, and they own their place free and clear, but whatever, they do a purchase loan to buy the new place, and then they're going to pay off that new loan with the sale of their existing residence. Is there any backlash if somebody does that on timing? Like, I got a loan and I paid it off within 2 months.
Yeah, I've got to pay my commission back for doing the loan.
Is that how it works?
That's it. And quite frankly, I would do that every single day of the year. I mean, Financing is both a long-term tool and it's a short-term tool, right? That's the only stipulation. If I pay off a loan, it's called an early payoff. In EPO, an early payoff. That's what it is. There's no issue nowadays, especially in the conforming market. If you get into the non-QM market, there are some instances where there's prepayment penalties back. But in the regular conforming market or the jumbo market, in an owner-occupied scenario, there is no recourse against the homeowner if they turn around and pay that mortgage completely off or do a principal reduction of more than 20% of the outstanding balance. So people still have this postpartum issue with the mortgage meltdown that they still think that they're going to be subject to some sort of rep or warrant. They're not.
Right.
Yeah.
And no worries with people that keep their job through closing and then quit a week later after everything's closed? Didn't hear that, right?
What?
Yeah, okay. I wasn't talking to you, Keith. I was talking to Walter. Right, Walter?
Yes.
All right. Anything else you guys have today? What time is it? It's 12:30, so this is normally our cutoff time. For those of you that are out there, I am looking for a house hack situation on the east side, purchase price up to, we'll say $1 million, okay? So nothing that requires structural, but if you guys have anything where a seller would be willing to take an off-market offer, my buyer will spend up to $1 million looking for, you know, heavy cosmetic renovation that they can house hack and live in for however many years. Also, I am looking for new construction homes that are like builder, what they were new constructions by like DR Horton or LGI or something like that. Those types of production builders that are built anywhere from like 2005 through 2012. In any type of subdivision neighborhood, I am looking for that priced under $500,000 for one of my buyers with deep pockets. If anybody has anything like that, I'm looking for. Anybody else need anything? Any wants and needs?
I'm looking for newer development as well, but more from probably like 2012 as of until now, east side.
Okay. 2012 or newer east side that needs work, or
I know they're open with no work, like, so newer, like if anybody has anything that's coming up and then they're out of state.
What's your price point?
They can go up to $875.
Okay. All right.
I'm looking for a mortgage assistant, so I need another one. So if anybody knows anybody, yeah, thank you, Deb. Thanks for that laugh. Anybody that wants to get into the mortgage industry, that's what I'm looking for right now, because everybody that's in the mortgage industry that wants a job has a job, guaranteed.
You should post that on SIC or something. I mean, people know people, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. I hope you guys are going to attend the, Pacific Northwest Big Badass Real Estate Expo over the next few days and get super educated on stuff like that. Should be a big badass event, right? Nice. Anybody else?
Just real quick, Julie and Keith, I sent you guys both emails already with the house address and my phone number.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you, Walter.
Okay, yeah, just get in touch with me when you can. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I gotta go.
All right, see you guys.
See you
All
later.
right, guys. Thanks for showing up today. And we'll catch you next week. See you guys later.